You might be able to hear it in the background, and I'm certainly going to show it to you with photos and numbers. There's been a lot going on in the Charlotte market here in June, July, and August. And if you want to hear about it and see the details, stick around. Hi, I'm Dave DeSilva with Long Tab Realty, brokered by eXp Realty here in Charlotte. I'm a 20-year veteran of the real estate industry in Charlotte, and I've been here for 22 years with my family. What we're going to bring to you over the next couple minutes are the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and all the numbers of the last month in Charlotte. What we do every month is bring you I guess it's the 2 previous months' numbers. So we're going to bring you June numbers that came out in late July, and we got them probably about the 25th, 26th of July, and now it's the first week of August. Sorry for spitting. And we're going to go ahead and explain those numbers to you and what they mean for the housing market. So stick around, like I said before. When we see a market shift, and I did go through the market shift, market collapse is more like it, in 2007, 8, and 9, typically the numbers shift a little bit slowly and significantly over a couple months period. One category where we have seen numbers shift drastically and significantly is the category of mortgage rates. Between January, February, and June, they've gone from 3.55% to 6%, and now hovering back down around 5%. If you're looking at purchasing a home about $420,000, give or take, at 3.55%, that's about $1,898 a month as far as your principal and interest goes, and it's about $2,568 a month at the 6% rate, somewhere in those ranges. And that's a difference of somewhere between $550 and $650 a month, which is about 32% difference. So that's a big jump for buyers. Most of the numbers we're going to talk about in the next couple of minutes are not quite as drastic. We're going to talk about a few ups and a few downs. When I talked last month, I think it was about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks, about the shift in the market and preferring buyers over sellers, a little bit of a change. We talked about inventory going up and prices going down. And that's kind of what we've seen in the last month. Take a look at some of these numbers on the chart. In June, we saw the inventory of homes in the Charlotte market rise by 12.7%. That's pretty significant, to 5,334. And listings grew only 4.1% to 6,509. That means our sales numbers must have erased or eased up just a little bit. From June 2021 to June 2022, we actually lost 13.6% year over year. And in June 2022, we are down 5.3% as far as year-to-date numbers go. Of course, those numbers didn't hurt the seller's pocketbook. The median sales price in June for our market was an even $400,000, and that's amazing. That brought the year-to-date median price to another record of $375,000, or a 20.1% rise from last year. Again, that's an incredible number. If you look at the economist projections for the rest of 2021, about a month or so ago, they were saying it looked like about 8.5% appreciation. Right now, they're hovering around a consensus of 10%. So while we're not going to see the average price go down much, we're going to see a little bit of depreciation, or I guess the acceleration in pricing depreciate a little bit. As I said a few minutes ago, and this is a plus side for the buyers, we're going to see a slowdown in price appreciation. We're going to look at inventory going up a little bit, and we've seen our rates easing a little bit, hovering back down around the 5% mark. We still see historically that 5% is just a fantastic rate, but that's hard to tell buyers when they've been looking at 2.5%, 3.5%, 4.5% for the last couple of years. One thing we're also seeing right now is a slowdown in the number of offers on each home, and also a little bit of an increase, actually it's 10% of an increase in the days on the market. All these are positives for a buyer. Another thing that we're seeing that's going to be a big positive for buyers is the change, I guess maybe in the mental attitude of the big box builders and some of the other builders as well. When the market was a super strong seller's market, and believe me, it still is a seller's market, the new construction builders were taking away incentives. We're not offering any incentives. We're not offering any concessions for their clients. And if you were a realtor, you were seeing a drastic cut in what they were offering agents to bring a buyer to their neighborhoods. Now that's changing a little bit. We're starting to see more incentives for the buyers, which is fantastic. Things like blinds, washer, dryer, maybe refrigerators, some paint colors, things like that are being offered more and more often now. And that wasn't the case just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. Another thing we noticed is from April to May, the permits issued by Mecklenburg County, Gaston County, and Cabarrus County have been going up and down. In the past month, I think in June, there were 460 permits issued. There was 535 permits issued in May, and about 420, I believe that was the number, in April. Now, the thing is, when the market crashed in 2006, 7, 8, 9, we saw those permits going down to double digits. It was just incredible how few new housing starts there were. So we are seeing that pick up a little bit. Hopefully that's a plus. And as we know, it's taken a much longer time to build a home now than it did in past years, just because of the economic slowdown and the supply chain holdup with a lot of their builder supplies. So they're doing the best they can. Now, that question that everybody wants to know, is it a good time to sell or buy a home? Well, I'm a realtor, so to me, every time's a good time. Any time is a good time to buy or sell a home. But in reality, if you're a seller, this is still a great time. It's still a seller's market. There is a lot of demand out there, and there's a very low inventory. So if you want to sell your home now and you've got a place to go, that's the best case scenario. If you're relocating, then you don't have a choice. You're still going to get a pretty good price for your home. And if you just want to take equity from your house, as long as you didn't buy it last year, you're well, in some cases, even if you bought it last year, you're probably making out like a bandit. Get with your local realtor. If you're in Charlotte, give me a buzz and we can help you look at the numbers and figure out what might be the best thing to do. On the buyer side, that's a little bit different story. Demand is still there. However, we've had fewer pending sales in the past, I think, month or two, which is an indicator of buyer demand. And what we're seeing is rates, again, getting a little bit stable, somewhere around 5%. Inventory bumping up a little bit. Fewer multiple offers on homes. We've seen that nationwide, and we've seen that in Charlotte as well. One other thing that we've seen, and the numbers in June don't play this out, it looks like there's still 14 days on the market. Excuse me, got a bug. As the average days on the market. But in the past month and a half, what I've seen and what I've experienced with some of my mastermind group conversations is that homes are starting to stick on the market a little bit longer. Buyers are getting a little bit looser in what they'll do and what they won't do for, a seller will go ahead and be a little bit more flexible in what they will and won't do with a buyer. So if you're a buyer and you need to get into a home, it's always a great time to do it. It's a great long-term investment. Numbers will show that. And if you're looking at renting is getting pretty expensive as well, and you're not making anything off your money if you're renting. We're not at the end yet, but I did want to make a quick public service announcement. Please go ahead and like this video if you like what you see. Make a comment. Let us know what else you would like to see. We're covering everything about Charlotte, and we put out a video every Wednesday. So please go ahead and like it, comment, subscribe. One of the notices that I got recently, actually a note I got from a friend, was asking about the potential for a market collapse because there just weren't going to be any more buyers out there. You know, some people are getting old, don't want to buy a house anymore, or they're going to be stuck in their house for the next 15 years. I looked up a stat, and this came from our multiple listing service in March, and what it said was 22% of buyers are millennials, or actually 22% of the population, which are potential buyers, are millennials, and that's anyone from 26 years old to 41 years old. And so that makes up a quarter of the population. And at this point, the thought is that could be 2 decades more of home buyers buying, living in their house anywhere from 5 to 9 years. It used to be 4 to 7, and then selling. So it looks like we've got a vibrant housing market for at least the next couple of years. The last 2 things I want to talk about are lender-mediated sales and then also the rental market. A lender-mediated sale is a sale where there's an issue that makes the sale become a foreclosure, maybe a short sale. It goes back to the bank, which becomes a REO, something like that. I have heard talk about fears of the foreclosure market really expanding and growing. But if you look at the numbers for the past month and couple months, we've had 0.5% of our sales in this market termed as lender-mediated sales. When the market was crashing in 2000, I guess 6, 7 was leading up to it, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had up to 20% lender-mediated sales, and leading up to that, the numbers were 8, 10, 12%. So there's no indication, if you look at lender-mediated sales, that we're on the mark or we're on the way for a crash. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the rental market. go ahead and take a look at these slides. If you noticed, in June of 2021, we had 1,022 active rentals out there. And in June 2022, we've got 800, and that's a drop of 21.7%. That's an incredible decrease. Rentals are getting very scarce, and the rental rate shows, again, June 2021, your average monthly lease was $1,751 in Charlotte. And you can find some less, but you can find some more expensive. And the average rental rate or lease price in June 2022 was $2,019 in June. For the year 2022, the average rental price is $1,903. So that's pretty significant. If you're looking at renting versus buying, get with your lender, and they'll be able to show you the difference, and then you can figure out with your CPA maybe what kind of advantages it would be to buying versus lending or renting. So again, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit the comments, and make some. Subscribe, hit the bell so you know when these next videos are coming up. Like I said, they come up every Wednesday, and as we introduce you to Charlotte, we'll get more and more in depth into some of the things that you want to see. So please send me a note and let me know what they are. Thanks.